Hello, everyone. My name's Sarah. I am currently in the Business Administration program for HR, and this is my assignment on workforce mobility. Now, my last name starts with A, so the country that I am doing is China. So what we'll do today is we'll go through the required questions regarding moving to China to work on an assignment. Now, first is the cost for the visa. Now, the cost for the visa, from what I found, is $142. The type of visa is a Z visa. Now, what happens is once you get into China, you then have to apply for a temporary resident permit, and that is about $80 Canadian for less than 10 months and about $150 Canadian if your assignment is more than 10 months. So the next thing is what travel documents are required. So you'll need a valid passport with blank pages for your visa stamps, a photocopy of your passport information page. You will need a passport photo as well as an application form for the visa. You will also need to provide a foreigner's employment permit. If you are Canadian but you're not currently residing in Canada, you'll have to provide proof of legal stay or residence status for where you are currently staying. If you've already had a Chinese visa before, you will have to provide a copy of that visa as well. And information I did find is that documents need to be submitted in person. A lot of times there is a requirement for fingerprints, so they will require you to do this in person. Now, you have to apply for a temporary work permit within 30 days of being in China on a Z visa. So you'd come into China on the Z visa, and then you would apply for your temporary work permit, which would go for the duration of the time that you're on your contract. So that leads us into the next question, which is the time limit that you can work in the country. So a Z visa is only for 30 days. So within that time frame, you will apply for a temporary resident permit that will last for the duration of your contract. So again, the Z visa is only for the 30 days. Once you're here or once you're in China, you then apply for a temporary resident permit. Now, can your spouse, partner, common law partner, same-sex partner work in the country? So if you are bringing over your partner or your spouse, I should say, they would come over on an S1 visa. And if they intend to stay longer, then they would apply for a temporary resident permit. However, they cannot work on that permit. If they want to work in China, they have to apply for a Z visa. And in some cases, that may require them to actually leave the country first before applying for that visa. So if they come in on a spousal visa, they are not able to work in China. Now, are there any implications for spouse or partners who are common law or same-sex marriages? So the information I found is that only Beijing is granting spousal visas for same-sex marriages. So what that would mean anywhere else, or probably more in general, same-sex marriages are not recognized. So you wouldn't be able to come into China if your spouse is already here on a Z visa using an S1 visa. Now, for common law, I didn't find clear information on common law relationships. However, on a website, I did see information that immediate family members would come in on an S1 visa, and China considers immediate family to be spouses, parents, sons or daughters under age 18, and parents-in-law. So spouses leads me to believe that you would have to be married, and it wouldn't recognize common law relationships and also not same-sex relationships. The last question is, are there any limitations or issues for working in the country? So working in China, now, as we all know, the coronavirus is definitely a big issue right now. So what I saw on the Canada.ca website is there is a travel ban saying to avoid non-essential travel to China and to avoid all travel to Hubei due to the coronavirus. So world issues like that is going to have a heavy impact on sending people to China on assignment, because something like a coronavirus is definitely going to impact whether workers will want to go there, and will also impact whether companies should be sending people there at this time. Some other things to take a look at is taxes. So for low to moderate income, the taxes are fairly low. However, if you are on an executive level, the taxes are a bit higher. I see information are sitting around 45%. Now, in terms of how many people are in China as Canadian expats, I wasn't able to find a whole lot of information, but Wikipedia does say that in Hong Kong, there's about 295,000 Canadians working in China. Now, that was from 2011, so I suspect that number is a lot higher now. Some other things to keep in mind in terms of issues is Canadians should be exercising extra caution just due to enforcement of local laws. So the enforcement of local laws might be a bit more heavy than enforcement of laws here in Canada. As well, beginning of last year, I think, I don't know how to say the name of this company well, I think it's Huawei, that cell phone company. There was an arrest of the CFO in Vancouver. So that has definitely impacted the relationship between Canada and Canada and China, especially in terms of Canadians working in China or Chinese people working in Canada, just because of that issue. Now, major places that Canadians may go to for work in China is places like Shanghai and Beijing. Those would be the two bigger places that people would go to. Now, the sources that I used to get this information, the biggest one that I used was one, it was called travelchinaguide.com. I also looked at a website called sicas.cn. There was a website, china-briefing.com, and I did look at some other small sites like Maclean's and canada.ca, especially for the travel advisories that are in place right now with China. So that is my assignment. Feel free to comment, and thank you for your time. Bye.